Welcome to another episode of Practically Political. I'm Dave Spencer.
And I'm Carrie Sheffield. Let's get right to it. All right, Dave. Okay, so let's go to Pennsylvania. So we know this guy Fetterman, he previously pledged to ban fracking in Pennsylvania, and nationally he wants to ban fossil fuel leasing. He's called fracking a stain on his state, even though it's a huge industry in Pennsylvania. He also said that he and socialist Senator Bernie Sanders agree on virtually every issue. And then Sanders introduced a bill to ban fracking. So Fetterman also says he supports the PRO Act, which destroys small businesses, and he doesn't even know how to manage his own economic affairs. He had a $25,000 tax lien filed against him. So here's my question for you. I know that you've been critical of Dr. Oz, but isn't he just a far better choice than this socialist train wreck, just on policy?
Well, again, I think I have to say with a sense of humor for you to be lecturing on the qualifications of Senate candidates based on some of the ones that you're supporting is akin to me pontificating on people running too slowly. But I think sometimes you MAGA folks tend to conflate qualifications with ideology or that you don't agree with. But putting all that aside, here's two qualifications that John Fetterman has that Oz doesn't. How about he's held public office and he lives in Pennsylvania? There's a start. He's definitely more liberal than I would care for, but I think he's an effective politician. Really, the issue for me is what the issue is with the stroke. And I think that is the one fair thing that people have brought up in terms of how qualified he is. And that will be decided. I think the October 25th debate is going to be one of the most important debates in the country, because he's got to show to the people of Pennsylvania that he's cognizant, and he has not shown that yet. So being the fair person that I am, I will say yes. If he passes that debate, then I think he'll win handily. If he doesn't, then as much as I hate to say it, but I think Oz could win. Your thoughts?
So you're saying that you would vote for this socialist who wants to ban fracking, who supports the PRO Act, which would basically destroy contracting and small businesses for people who have small business contractors. He supports the PRO Act, which is one of the most socialist union measures ever. And he says he supports Bernie Sanders, that they virtually agree on every issue. To me, I don't care. It's really about policy. So you're okay with socialist policies. So you're saying, tell me if it was held today,
this is a disagreement you and I have had before. And this is where you will not, for example, renounce Herschel Walker, whom we'll get to in a minute. But I think there's a point, okay, where it doesn't matter what someone's political beliefs are, okay? They have to have a basic level of qualification and a basic level of competence, okay? Do I disagree with most things that John Fetterman says? Yes. I mean, I support fracking. And I've told you many times, when people like Bernie Sanders say, I'm against climate change, and we have to do something about it, but then
but you didn't answer my question, Dave.
That's not being against climate change. But
Dave,
my point is, I don't know if I would vote. I don't know if I would vote in this election. It'd be hard for me to support Fetterman. But the bottom is, Oz is so unqualified. Here's a question for you. Other than kissing Donald Trump's ring, give me one qualification that Oz has to run for Senate in Pennsylvania. Give me one.
He's a doctor. He knows the problems with centralized medicine.
There are. He's a doctor. Good. There are none.
Absolutely.
So many of these candidates, all they've done is J.D. Vance in Ohio, Walker in Georgia. All they've done is
that's a huge qualification.
That's their only qualification.
I don't know.
Zero other than that.
First of all, Dave.
And will you please renounce that?
You know what? First of all, the Constitution places no sort of litmus test. And to me, it comes down to policy. And policy is substance. And substance is what really matters. And how are they going to vote when they're in Congress? That, to me, is the number one issue. And Fetterman will vote for socialism.
Socialism. Well, first of all, there's a lot of things. Fetterman's also, when it comes to abortion and some other issues, he's a lot more middle of the road. But the bottom line is how qualified Fetterman is, or what his views are. Not how qualified. What his views are don't matter. The point is that he has a basic level of qualification to run for public office. If you don't agree with those qualifications, that's certainly you're right. Oz hasn't come out with any policies. He hasn't said anything. I mean, he's clueless. He doesn't even live in the state. Again, because there is no answer. You or none of the MAGA crowd, who once again, conflate political views with competence or experience, have given any reason or any qualifications that these three candidates have other than kissing Donald Trump's ring, because there is none. And Herschel Walker, are you finally ready to renounce him? And by
Are
the
we
way,
changing
this whole
topics?
thing, let me just say one thing. This whole thing about abortion, this is not the first time this has happened. That's why I say so many Republicans, they're pro-lifestyle before they're pro-life. What do I mean by that? Bob Barr, that fanatical congressman from Georgia, remember him? He paid for his estranged girlfriend to have an abortion. Even Dan Quayle, well, if it was my daughter, gee, maybe I would think twice about it. And the same thing. These people are such hypocrites. Herschel Walker is against abortion, even in rape, incest, mother's life. But yet when it comes to his own life, of course, I'll be happy to pay for it. But to me, that's not the most damaging thing. The most damaging thing is that his own son, Christian, has renounced him. This man is a troubled human being, Carrie, plain and simple. He is grossly unqualified. Again, his only qualification is kissing Donald Trump's ring. So will you finally at least say that you wouldn't vote, that you won't support him, please?
So I guess we're changing to the second question.
No,
here's my
that's
take
not
on
the second question. I'm asking you right now.
Well,
Because
this question was
related.
about
It's all these
Fetterman.
MAGA candidates that are unqualified.
This question
except
was
for
about
kissing Trump's
Fetterman,
ring.
and you've turned it to Herschel Walker. If we want
No,
to change
I've
topics,
answered the
we
question
can.
about Fetterman. I mean, if I had to hold
You
my
wouldn't
nose,
vote.
I would vote for Fetterman because Oz is so blatantly unqualified. I don't like Fetterman. He's way too liberal for me. But he's been lieutenant governor.
Fetterman
He
pulled
lives
a
in the
rifle
state.
on an
He
unarmed
connects with
black
voters.
jogger.
Okay,
He
so
pulled a rifle on an unarmed black jogger
okay.
instead of calling the police.
I don't.
So if you want to talk about character
You're
and
just getting down in
qualifications,
the
Fetterman
weeds.
is
I
a
can get down in the
disaster.
weeds about.
That's not the weeds. You're talking about character, and I'm saying if you're going to vote for the guy who pulled a rifle on an unarmed, innocent black jogger, and you're okay with that, Dave Spencer, you're going to vote for that.
Okay. So
That's your
so
choice.
you're okay with Herschel Walker
I'm just saying.
pulling
I'm
a
saying.
gun on his girlfriend's. His own son said he did it. So you're okay with that. You're going to vote for him.
I'm not okay. I don't excuse that either. But
you would still vote for him.
But you're the one who's going after
answer
character.
the question. You would
and
still
I'm
vote for
saying,
him.
I would. You know why? Because I believe that, first of all, we've talked about his mental health. He's gotten mental health treatment.
Yeah,
and
but he's
I'm
still
not going
troubled.
to stigmatize someone who has gotten mental health treatment. I think that is not a disqualifying thing. You should be able to run for office. And I'm not going to stigmatize someone because they needed mental health care. That's the first thing. And then second of all, the claims that have been disputed about the abortion, it hasn't been verified. So people make up stuff all the time. It's called an October surprise. So whether this woman is telling the truth or not, first of all, there's no evidence he's denied
How about
it.
his
So we
own
need to
son?
make sure that's true.
Is his own son is that just sour grapes? All I know is that if someone's estranged from their own kids, they are not a good individual. I don't know anyone who's estranged from their own kids who's a quality individual. So is his son Christian? Is he lying?
I don't know. I don't know his son, and his son didn't say anything about the abortion. His son has other issues with the treatment of his mother. And
his son said how unqualified he is,
talking
what a
about the
troubled
abortion.
man he is, how he'd abused his wife and his girlfriends, how unfaithful he was, what a lousy father he was. Does that stuff matter? To me, that matters more than whether he paid for an abortion.
He said that he loves his son unconditionally, and
of course,
yeah,
what's he going to say?
I think it's good.
I hate him. Come on.
No.
All right, I guess we're just going to have to agree to disagree on this one.